Welcome, everybody, to the Film Points podcast, hosted by me, Timothy Montes. Uh, I wanted to start this podcast, first of all, for anyone that's interested in filmmaking, just from that side aspect, or just filming in general, because I know there's a lot of people that really want to go out there and film short films or just be in the film industry. Uh, I just want to talk about some of my experiences and some of the things that I've been through in my film journey, I guess you can say. Uh, really, I've been through a lot. Really, how I started out, some kind of little bit of my background would be I first started getting into filmmaking really since I was a kid. I always really enjoyed picking up a camera and recording anything really. Uh, you can ask my parents, you can ask my brothers. It's just something that I've always really been passionate about, something that I've really wanted to pursue as a career. It just really made me happy, I guess, in a sense. One thing I remember, my father always told me, do something that always makes you happy and that you want to wake up and you want to go to work to. Just being because sometimes we go into our day-to-day lives and we go into work and sometimes we dread it, and sometimes that makes us feel unmotivated, or it makes us not really want to care about our certain jobs. But if you do something that you love, one thing that my father also told me, that it's not going to feel like work, it's going to feel like your passion. So, and that's something that I feel like I carry with me each and every day. Just something that, you know, many people try to find what they're passionate about. And many people today, they really try to uh, figure out what they want to do for their future and their career. And that's really what this podcast is really about. Just helping the future people that really want to get into this business, really want to pursue this as a career. And something that I guess I can, as sort of an advice, would be that it's going to be a struggle. That's something that I've learned from day one. Um, you know, I would say that if you want to pursue this career, first of all, just know that, it's going to come at a cost. Obviously, if you've been around in the industry, or if you worked with people on set, or have had had experiences with short films, like working with the cast and the crew, you know that it's gonna take a lot of hours, a lot of man time, just to get a certain project done. That's just the name of the business. So if you're, someone that doesn't really care about that, someone that's willing to put in the man hours, put in the work, then I feel like this is for you. Because I feel like your passion will help fuel anything that you want to pursue. But that's one thing that I can say for a fact, is that it's going to be hard in the beginning, but just know that your hard work will pay off, especially if you're putting in the real work and the real man hours to get what you really want to get. So a little background, I guess I wanted to go in about myself. How I really got seriously into my career was actually in high school. Believe it or not, I actually wanted to be a lawyer. Uh, it's just one thing that I thought in the back of my mind was, you know, because I seen some of my family members and some of my close friends going into that career, and it's really something that really motivated me. That I really wanted to really be in that kind of space, learning about certain laws, different laws, and just getting into that kind of system. But as I grew on, and I took, that's why I'm so thankful that at my high school that we had certain classes. I think they were called CTE classes, so career technical education, I believe, classes. And you really get to understand how if you want to pursue that certain career, or that certain job, I guess you can say, you will be able to get a little bit of an insight on it. So I'm really glad that I took all those law classes that I did when I was in high school. to be honest, I really love them. They're really great and really helped me shape myself into the kind of person that I am today. Just because my teacher that I had there really was a great motivator and helped me understand that, like same thing with anything, that like if you want to pursue like this certain career, it's gonna take work, just like how we talked about in the beginning. Just the work and so many things that that we go through as filmmakers. Everybody that understands the business, understands like how it is, really. But yeah, I wanted to be a lawyer, and then I quickly found out that that wasn't for me. Just so many I guess things that I had to learn and understand, and knew that school was going to be expensive, and knew that so many years that I had to dedicate to a certain thing. I guess at the time I really didn't want to pursue it. I'm still interested in it today, really. But actually, how I got into like pursuing filmmaking as a career, one of my classmates when I was in, I want to say, junior year of my high school career, he came up to me and he said, "Hey, do you want to help film some football for the football team that we have here?" And I was like, "Oh, that's really interesting because I really love sports, something that I've always loved since I was a kid, especially with my dad. He really impacted me and really helped me to get into the sports filmmaking like industry part of it, because we would always watch football on Sundays, you know, typical like son and dad stuff. Watch football on Sundays, watch sports. That was me and my dad. So that's what really kind of got me into that space, got me into that atmosphere, really. Um, but yeah, he asked me if I wanted to help film some practices and some games for our football team, and I said sure, I'll look into it. And then went into it, and then I just fell in love with it. It was just something that I was like, okay, I can do this. Like as a career, I can do this. Um, like in the future, because I really like had a passion for it, and something that I've made friends along the way, especially during that time. I'm still friends with those people today. So it's just a great space, and then you just combine both of like your favorite things like sports and filmmaking. So it was just a great combo for me, something that is just great. I don't know really how to understand it, but and then after that, so after I graduated high school, I was contemplating like, okay, well, like, do I want to get into the sports filmmaking industry, or do I just want to get into the filmmaking industry in general? So two different kind of spaces, a little bit if you think about it. So that's just like a dilemma that I had, really. So went to college, took my basics, and then I transferred to Sam Houston State University, joined the film program, and just fell in love with the process. Really, I met so many great friends along the way. My professors really helped shape and mold me to the person that I am today, just with all the experiences and lessons that they taught me, implementing that into my career, my on my day to day job basis. Just because you learn so many things along the way, and it's really like something that you can take with you for the rest of your life. Really, that's how I see it. The many things that you go through in college, especially like being at that sort of a young age. You're exposed to like the different things that you'll see in your career or in your job. And it's actually pretty good because it helps you for the future, like how we talked about. It helps you with that. And, with your professors and with your colleagues that you work with on certain projects, you'll be able to like help them, and you'll be able to if they need some help on like on, let's say, like a short film, or if they need some help on anything really, just be there for them. If this is something that you want to take seriously, you know, make friends, make be have those connections, because those people are gonna help you out when you go into your job and when you go into the real world. Because like when you're in college, you don't have I don't want to say you don't have everything together, but we have a like a certain dream that we want to achieve, or certain thing that we want to have hopefully in our career. And I think maybe we get caught up in that space, and we get caught up in that, we don't see that we actually have to like do the work, and we have to you know actually go into our jobs and make sure we meet those people and make those certain connections, like how we talked about, to be able to help our careers in the future. So did that in the process. I did a lot of same thing. I did sports, some sports classes, sports media classes. So I helped some filming with the football team at Sam Houston State, some filming for the basketball team. And actually, well, one of the things that we had to do as sports media students was we had to be in charge of the radio station at a certain time. So if it whether it be a baseball game, a basketball game, or a football game, in my case it was a baseball game. And like to be honest, like I really don't have that much of baseball knowledge. uh, it was kind of difficult. But being at the time that I was graduating in the spring, so I had kind of had to knock it out. Just you know, I just did my research. I mean, you see baseball games on TV. As like a football guy, as a basketball guy, you're used to more. I guess you can say fast pace, a fast paced kind of game. So when you go to a certain thing like baseball, it's kind of, I don't want to say slower, but it's you kind of have to like play by play. Make sure everything is right, make sure everything is correct, from calling it from a radio side of it, because there's a difference really, like because if you're calling it on the radio to whereas you're calling it like live on television, it's kind of two different things. Because I think like more radio, you have to describe a lot of things that's going on more, because the person that's listening to the radio can't see the game visually, so you kind of have to go into that creative process of like, hey, like okay, I have to make sure that I describe this to this person that's listening to on the radio, and making sure that they get the full experience of this game. Because if they don't, then why are they even listening to it like on the radio? I don't know. That's just how I took it. Uh, you know, because like as people that as myself, I guess I speak for myself. Like I'm a visual learner, so I like to see things with my eyes, and I like to use like my hands to make sure that if I can get the job done, that I make sure I can do it by myself first, so I can so like how we talked about earlier, that it can help you later on in your career and your uh in your job, because you're gonna have to do things by yourself. That's just the name of the game. It's the name of the game. You know, that's something that we have to, go into. Uh, you know, it's just a process. I guess that's what you can take from this podcast and this episode, that if you want to go into this industry, that it's a process. It's something that, it's not going to happen like overnight. I mean, maybe sometimes you might get lucky, uh, but usually most of the time it's a process. And I'm fine with that. Like if it's something that you want to do, something that you feel like you want to do for the rest of your life, and as your career, then go for it. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you like you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. But if this, just know that if you want to get into this, that it's gonna be hard, and it's gonna be a struggle. So yeah, pretty much. So in the meantime, while I was actually in school, when I was in high school, actually, we worked on Premiere Pro and edit like coming from the editing side of it, because also too, I guess what we can talk about is like different jobs that are in the film industry or in filmmaking in general. Like there's director, producer, editor, cinematographer. You can be a PA, which is a production assistant. There's like so many things that, careers and jobs that you can get into, like in the industry. And me, like, I had to choose, okay, what do I really want to get into? What would be my, like, I guess, job career that I want to do? And, I chose editing because I knew a lot of people really like hate editing. It doesn't have like the best rep, I guess you can say, because so many people just don't like the process. I guess, yeah, that's gonna be like, I guess the name of this episode is the process, because people just they don't want to put in the time and the effort to actually learn things, and they don't want to, they rather pass the work on to someone else, and they can just lay back. But I mean, obviously, as someone that took on that challenge, I wanted to be there and be like, okay, like I can do this, I can put stuff together. I think I have a good creative mind that, if I can put things together, you know, then it'll be fine. But obviously you have to learn the different type of programs that are out there. And when I was in high school, we used Premiere Pro. Premiere Pro was, I'm so grateful, really so grateful for the many things, many classes that I had in high school, because I know, like, I guess, like, I don't want to say back in the day, but I don't know. I guess we were just so blessed and, uh, you know, really in these times to have like things like that are so close to us. Well, not close, I don't want to say, but things that are at at hand to us, in this generation, because they people want, obviously people want you to succeed. They want to make sure that you want to get into the job that you want to get into, you want to get into the career that you want to get into. And like I can't, I'm so grateful because that I was able to take like a AV class that we had at our high school, and I believe it was one of the first ones. I don't know how long it's been there. When I got there, I don't know how long it was there. It might have been one of the first classes that was there. And obviously, if that's something that you want to get into or something that you're curious about, in your high school career or in your college career, take it. Like, obviously, if something that you want to get into, just go ahead and take it. Like, there's no, there's nothing stopping you really. If that's what you want to get into, and do it. I mean, you just have to have that passion for it, because if you don't, then obviously, it will show in your work. It will show in, everything that you do. So yeah, we used Premiere Pro, and that's how I got started into editing. Really, actually, what I really started on was iMovie when I was really young. And I'm kind of also glad for that process as well, because you learn. I guess you want to. I guess I can say you learn the basics of it, because a lot of times people get into editing and they get really confused, and they get uh, they just don't know what's going on, so they just give up. They're like, okay, I can't figure this out, whatever, and they just give up. But I say if you're really new to editing, like really like fresh, like you don't like know nothing about editing, really try out iMovie, because like you will understand like the basics pretty much of like putting things together and making sure you can tell like a story, especially coming from like the film side of it. So if you film like YouTube videos, whether you film YouTube videos, short films, or whatever content you want to create, I would say if you're new to editing at all, start out with iMovie. Just try it out, test it out, because that's something that like how we talked about earlier, just putting the basics together, putting the keys together. That's something that will help you out in the long run. Really, I'm grateful for that. And with that iMovie, like how I started out, you just putting stuff together, obviously, basic stuff. So like I guess when I was younger, I filmed like I guess birthday parties, like for family and friends. You do like the little stuff, like birthday parties, weddings, maybe. Nothing like too major, obviously. Especially if you're younger, you really don't have like the budget of you can go buy this certain camera, this like whatever $1,000 camera, $2,000 camera, like whatever. Obviously, you can't afford that. I mean, if you can, then go ahead. But I'm just speaking from like my situation. You can't get those certain things. So, and I think it's great too for your mind. You become innovative, you become more creative. I say in a way because obviously you either use your phone or you use like a lower quality camera. And then back in the day, they didn't really have that, like the phones weren't really like now you can shoot 4K on your iPhone. So it's it's just better for, I mean, if you have an iPhone now, like certain iPhones they can shoot 4K footage. So that's even better. But back in the day, like I'd say the most that you can probably shoot in is like 720 or 1080, nothing really nothing too crazy. But that's just that's how it is. And I think that if you like how you if you are new to editing, try out iMovie. Just try it. Just trust me. You'll be grateful in the long run. And then I guess yeah, iMovie Premiere Pro, used it in high school. And then when I started my college career, uh I used Premiere Pro too as well, just continue to use it. And then when I went to Sam Houston State University, same thing. We were taught in Premiere Pro, and that's just something that I use to this day. And I'm actually learning how to use Final Cut. And just being like, it's good to learn different programs because we if we stick ourselves to one program, you just know that certain program. So like you only limit yourself to a certain like one program. You just limit yourself to one thing. And as a creator or as someone who wants to be in a creative space, I feel that you have to reach out and branch out to learn different things because if you just stick yourself in one box, like you'll just be in that one box. You will have, that's just all you'll know. You just know one box. So if you reach out and you branch out to certain ideas or certain if you watch like a certain YouTuber or if you watch a certain director, like you'll see like how their minds think and that influences many people really. Um, that if you just see that one thing and then you just be okay, like that influenced me in this way, this influenced me in that way. Really just watch different types of content, really. There's many different YouTubers out there, many different like short film directors, actors, that you see like in movies and television. Like you can see their style and see like what's going on. Like that's really how I guess you can learn. Uh, you know, that's just how it is. But with that, uh, I guess Premiere Pro. That's how we talked about. I use that, and then I'm starting to use Final Cut. So I'm learning so many different things, really, and I'm really grateful, really blessed in my life to be where I'm at right now, uh, because you know that's just how I am. I just feel blessed right now. I feel grateful with all the opportunities that I've been given in my life. That's just how I feel, because I just feel great. I feel wonderful right now. I feel that I'm at my peak of my creative process. Like I just feel like things just come like so natural now. To whereas like I want to say like a couple years ago, you get that. I guess they call it writer's block. If you're a writer or if you write scripts, you get that writer's block, and it's kind of sort of a hard funk to get out of. Really, because once you get in it, it's like like how we talked about. You get stuck in that box. You get stuck in like, oh, I can't write anything. I can't. I can't think of nothing right now like that makes sense or doesn't really doesn't flow well. But I say if that's something that you have trouble with right now, just look at different, just like how we talked about different content really out there, and just be open to certain ideas, because sometimes we take the ideas that we want and we just, okay, I'm gonna stick with this, and this is my style, and this is how I'm gonna I'm I'm gonna make my films this way, a certain way, and then that's it. And we can't be like that. I mean, that's how I take it. I feel like we can't be like that. I feel like we need to branch out and look at those certain like ideas and certain situations that could make us different. Because if we just sit in the same box and same ideas, then we're never gonna grow. In my opinion, I guess I could say, you're never gonna grow. You're just gonna be in that one spot. So just make sure that you go out and you try out new different things and see what works for you really. And I guess another thing I wanted to talk about was I had this camera right here. I don't know if you can see it. This camera was the first camera that I ever bought with my own money. Yeah, in really in the beginning, I wanted to be like a cinematographer. I wanted to be someone that actually recorded the video process. That's something that I was really passionate about, and that's why I purchased this camera. But me, not doing the real research. This is actually more of a photography camera, more of something take pictures with, weddings, birthdays. Really, if you're into photography, nature, or however however you want to take it. Um, but I filmed a couple like YouTube videos on here, and mainly use it now just for photography. It's actually, I guess, I retired it. I don't really use it anymore. It just kind of sits on my shelf, um, and it just reminds me of like, how where I started, where I am right now. So if you have like one of these like cameras, or it can even just be like an old, like a phone, like your phone that you first used on your first shoot or whatever, I say like hold on to those items, because they're gonna remind you of where you started and like where you are today. And yeah, this is a Nikon D3200. Nothing too crazy. It's pretty much like it's like the basic package, because I mean obviously, you're not gonna have, well, in my situation, didn't have that much money to begin with, and I believe this was like a $500 or $600 camera. So it was kind of a lot. It was kind of a lot. But again, if you're looking for something that's like budget friendly, and well, really, I guess if you really want good kind of quality content, I would say look into a DSLR camera. So, you can have that kind, if you're looking for like a cinematic kind of feel, or if you're looking into something that's like maybe a little bit more professional than your phone. But like nowadays, honestly, like iPhone 15 shoots 4K footage. So, and you can also use log footage as well. So it really you know if you have that kind of phone, then obviously you can use that. But if you're someone that's looking into like some that you want to get into professionally or something, and you want to start out, I would say look into a DSLR camera. I probably would say like a Canon camera would be better than a Nikon, because I think Nikon would be more for like photography. Uh, but if you're looking into like more of like cinematography or anything going into like for video, I would recommend Canon, because they have good cameras, good start off cameras, and good lenses if you want to really get into that. So, um, I guess like to end towards this podcast for today, I wanted to answer like a question um that maybe you have like as an aspiring filmmaker, or someone that wants to get into the industry, or someone that wants to get into this business and doesn't know like if you want to pursue it or not. Because I know a lot of times we kind of doubt ourselves, And I kind of did that in the beginning too. I kind of doubted, you doubt your abilities. Can I do this? Can I be, the best that I can be and be different at the same time? Because really, you have to be different. There's no like if, ands, and buts about it. Like you have to be different. If you want to stand out, you have to be different. Because if you just stay the same, like you're gonna be lost in all the content that's there. Like you have to put yourself out there. You have to be different. And trust me, I know it's difficult. Like it's difficult. It's not the easiest thing in the world. And I'm not saying it's the easiest thing in the world, but that's something that, we have to look into, like really lock in because if we want to be the best that we can be, we have to get our stuff together. We have to make sure that we stand out, and because that's how people are going to see, because people watch content every single day. People watch content, they're on social media, they're on YouTube, they're on TikTok, they're on Instagram, like whatever. And, they watch content every single day. So they pretty much know what's going on a day-to-day basis. They know the trends, they know like everything that, people are putting out online. So if you do something different, that catches the eye of that person that's watching your content. And I was watching a YouTube video actually yesterday, and the person that was on there was really talking about, like I guess they used the scenario of I guess how can I describe this? Of someone that's performing, you know, let's say like someone that's performing like a I guess I don't really know how to describe it. They're performing in like a dance, like I don't know if you see like sometimes like if you walk on the street, like people they'll do dance and they'll have like a little tip, like they'll put like a hat out or they put their guitar out, or someone that's playing outside and playing a guitar, playing songs outside on a guitar, and they have the guitar case out, and they have like if you want to give a tip or if you want to do whatever, then you keep walking by, you know, and not everybody that walks by is gonna put money in that case. Not everybody that walks by is gonna put whatever, like a donation or whatever in that case. And he was comparing it like, if you can get somebody just to stop by and just like listen and watch for like 5 seconds or 6 seconds or something like that, then you have them engaged. You have their attention, and that's something that I took from it. You know, if you can get somebody's attention just for like a quick minute, like a quick, not even a minute, quick second, like 5 seconds, because like nowadays, like our attention span is like really, well, I guess speaking for myself, attention span is like really low. And I think like TikTok really had like that influence on it. But anyway, that's a different topic. But people's attention span nowadays is really short. So if you don't get your point across within like the first 3 4 seconds, and you lost them. I guess what you can take away from this is if you can make somebody stop and actually listen to your content for at least a couple seconds, then you did your job. Because usually people will just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling until they, obviously find something that they like and they're gonna watch it. So, and that's what I took from it, and I think that's some really good advice. Because like how we talked about, just to stand out and to be different, really. Uh, Making sure that everything that you do is just different, really. So um one question I guess I can ask for anybody that wants to get into it is, what's the most important lesson you learned as a new filmmaker, and what can others benefit from it? What others can benefit from it? I guess the most important lesson um, that I've learned is time management, because really time is the most valuable uh, asset that we have. Because obviously, you have to make sure everything is correct, making sure everything is right, and as as time goes on, we have to make sure that everything that we've learned, like let's say within a day or within a couple of hours, that we make sure that we made ourselves better, that we've made something that can be put out there, something that people can watch and enjoy, and actually like pay attention to our content, because that's the goal. The goal nowadays is just to make people like stop and watch your content. because people will keep on scrolling, like how we said, like people will keep going and going and going. But one most important lesson I would say, time management. Time management is key. Like how we spend our time. Because most of the time, like, we're like, okay, well, I'll do this later. Or I'll put this off. I have to do this thing first. But making sure that we do everything on time and making sure that we follow like a schedule. Just make yourself a schedule and be like, okay, I'm gonna do this at this time. I'm gonna do research at this time. I'm gonna edit at this time. I'm gonna write at this time. Like just making sure you put all your stuff in order because that's the process. Making sure because you have to keep those things in order because if you don't, then your whole like process is gone. Like you really have nothing to go off of if you don't have a schedule. So like one day you be like, okay, I'm gonna do this, like I'm gonna write this day. And the next day you're gonna be like, okay, well, I'm gonna do research this day. Just making sure you keep that certain order in your life, especially in this business, you have to have order. You have to have a schedule. Like that's just like what we need to have. So I would say time management and scheduling would be the most important lesson that I've learned. Because if you don't do those things, like so many things can go wrong, like on set. So many things can go wrong, like just with any process in filmmaking. So, but obviously you have to go through those things because if you don't go through those things like now, like when you're beginning, then you won't know how to deal with it in the future. I mean, that's how I take it. If you don't go through those certain like situations, like things going wrong, uh camera doesn't work, audio doesn't work, uh this person didn't show up, this person didn't do their job, this person lost the footage or whatever. Like how are you going to be able to deal with that? How would you react in those situations? Like that's something that you have to put yourself into. Like just think about it for a moment, really. Just think about like what would I do in that situation if this went wrong? What would I do if this person did this? Like that's just something that you have to think about. Especially being a director or someone that's in charge of a project, like you have to know what could possibly go wrong. So I think that's all that we have for today. I really think uh, anybody coming in and watching this podcast really I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Uh, Thank you all so much, and I'll see you guys next time on the next Film Points podcast.